afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for February 13th, 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern. Picture yourself as when we're talking about you with you. And picture yourself that you are the most precious, divine, adorable being, and you are the greatest lover you will ever meet and contain the pure ecstasy you've been searching for your entire life for. There's nothing to do but rise in love with yourself. Now we're not talking, the ego and that type of love for yourself. We're talking about genuine, through the heart-mind love for you, with you, and knowing that you're a divine, adorable being, and you're the greatest lover you will ever meet, and contain the pure ecstasy that you've been searching for your entire life for. And there's nothing to do but rise in love with yourself. This is so important for every single one of us in this civilization. So many people, because of a lot of different influences externally, are kind of broken in a way. They just don't view themselves. They're incessantly after themselves. And it's all between them. It has nothing to do with externalities. It is everything to do with just them and what they conjure within them. And it's unfortunate because when we understand this, when we look at the landscape, the surroundings, okay, and you can see a lot more when you're outside of it. So when you're outside of it, you're looking and you see a lot more of it. And there's times that you would like to, help people, assist them somehow, but there really isn't in a lot of ways, because they must discover this for themselves. There's this, because then that becomes an affront or an attack in their eyes, and then they become more and more disturbed, irritated, and withdrawn. So when we have this occurrence within a civilization, of course, the collective consciousness could be a lot higher. Over 46 million of us are, we're in an understanding, and each one of us are going through our own journeys within ourselves. And these are just pieces that somehow, have been kind of hidden or pushed out of our understanding due to mostly what we've experienced in these lives that we inhabit. And because of that, when we experience, we pull in too much to the ego mind. We don't say, okay, fine, I forgive myself for this, I forgive myself for that. It is all about you. It really is. And the more that we become one with ourselves, we begin to understand that all of this stuff that we carry with us, and I don't think it's really conscious that we carry it. I think it's just automatic. I think it might be just, it's the subconscious and unconscious, where we just carry it through life with us. And, some of it's scars, emotional, from how we've interacted with people, how we've experienced things, what we have traveled with. And a lot of the times, we pack a closet so full of this stuff that we ignore it. And we think we're working on it, we're not, because it's there all the time, and it surfaces at certain times. And it really weighs us down, and it keeps us in a low vibrational frequency. When you're constantly defensive and you're constantly, kind of scratching out because you feel threatened or because you feel attacked, it keeps you in a much lower frequency. Even though you believe you're in a high frequency, because that's the ego mind trying to trick you, you're really not. You're in that low frequency. And we all know it. What does being in a low frequency mean? It means that you just don't quite feel balanced. You're quick to temper. You're quick to judge. You're quick to evaluate and make quick decisions about things. And it's always uneven, and there's always a fear, and there's always unknowing. And, we're susceptible to that because we've been so involved with embracing our ego minds and having the ego minds basically dictate us and draw us into different directions. So when we begin to love ourselves and look at ourselves as the perfect lover for ourselves, you see, literally, if we really, really, really understood that we are the perfect lover for ourselves, and we're not talking, the sexual lover. I want to clarify that. This is us loving ourselves and knowing that we are the greatest lover that we will ever meet and contain the pure ecstasy that we've been searching for our entire lives for. And there's nothing to do but rise in love with yourself. That's really it in a nutshell. Rise in love with yourself. If we aren't able to do that, how are we going to move forward? Maybe with two ball and chains on each ankle, dragging them along. That's not a pleasant thought. So, we look at the fact of learning, understanding, and embracing ourselves. And we've talked about this on different perspectives. But all in all, in a nutshell, it's really, truly the God within us and the bodies we're in and who we are. And embracing that and loving that completely. So, rise in love with yourself. And of course, what is that for? Forgiveness, letting go, gentleness, kindness, benevolence, tranquility, all of these things with yourself. Because once you are balanced and you know pretty much on who and what you are, then you're able to maneuver things. Every now and then it builds up and you have to expel it. And, and that's part of the transition. But as you do, you begin to more and more understand that there wouldn't be one lonely being on this planet if they totally were an understanding of rising in love with yourself. That there wouldn't be a lonely person. There wouldn't be one lonely being on this planet. There really wouldn't. And there wouldn't be someone who was worried about how they are, what they are, how they act, and everything else. How they're judged, how they're viewed, period. And so we begin to understand that it is everything within us, everything with us, that sets the stage for our forward movement, our forward progression, not looking over our shoulder, not looking back, just moving forward. Constantly moving forward all the time. And when we decide in our own way, in our own direction, to embrace this and to understand that we are the perfect lover for ourselves, it would be absolutely mind-altering when we fully did this and did it without stress, without worry, without feeling pressured, without feeling that you have a duty to do it, just because it is and you've embraced it and you're in joy with it. Now, some people try it. They try to do it forcibly. Well, I better do this, I've got to do it, and they kind of push themselves heavy duty, and they're not kind with themselves. They just aren't, and they go through life literally beating on themselves, ridiculing themselves. And I'm not talking about walking around outside, doing it out loud, but they do it within. They do it through different actions. When you are, and you try to fool yourself, when you're in anger all the time with yourself, eventually it bubbles up and comes out. It's always on a defensive stance. You ever notice that? That people who have a lot of anger within them, they will become very quick defensive, very quick to snap, very quick to move into that defensive position, argumentative, conflicting, abrasive, disrespectful, a lot of different things. And some of us will do that on occasion because we get lost in the ego mind. But then there are those that carry it with them all the time, and it's just sitting under the surface. And all of that can be shifted and vaporized for themselves. And it always starts with us, never anybody else. It's always within us. And if we find it hard going with the flow and just rolling, there's a lot of times where you come across people that you know that they are not a good energy. They're just not a good frequency. No matter what you do, they're not a good frequency. And so you just move out of that way. You just do not engage it. And sometimes it's difficult because you find yourself being, drawn back into it. But in reality, you begin to realize that it just isn't a good frequency for you to be around. And a lot of us experience this in many different ways. We can experience it with ourselves at times. We can experience it if we're working and we have a boss. We can experience it with coworkers. We can experience it with family members. We can experience it with, spouses, acquaintances. But all that is, it's within that being. It's within them that causes that friction and low frequency emission, aggressive anger, conflict. These are all things because it all boils down to one simple thing. We don't love ourselves completely. Now, some people say, well, I love myself. Do you love all of yourself? No, I don't. There's the problem with a lot of people. You've got to embrace everything, every aspect, every single thing, all of the things that, some of the things we say, well, I don't like this about me, I don't like that about me. You forgive yourself and you embrace it. And it vaporizes, it dissipates, it goes, it is eliminated. But see, a lot of us don't face it, we carry it. You know what I mean? We carry it. What's in that trunk? Oh, nothing, never mind. I never look in there anyway. Well, why are you carrying it? Oh, just because I really don't want to get rid of it, so I carry it. Okay. And you don't look inside of it. No. You know what's in there? Yeah, I know what's in there. Oh, okay. It's kind of like that. Okay. And only we know what these things or these frequencies that we carry are. Only we know. Nobody else knows. Period. even if they think they know, they don't know. And it all boils down to this is how the civilization is moving forward. This is how many are waking up, because they're starting to realize, does it matter? Does it matter what others think of you? There's a big one there in the social structure of things. Does it matter what others think of you? Because if you're content, balanced, and you rise in love with yourself, then there isn't anything that's going to bother you. Really, really not. See? And if you really are firmly implanted with who and what you are, it isn't going to bother you. A lot of the superficial things that we are confronted with, and it happens all over the world. I get letters from people from all over the planet, different countries, and it's kind of similar, where somebody's ridiculed by how they look or what they're wearing, and even by their friends, their so-called friends, and how it affects them and how it makes them sad, and how they start kind of judging themselves. So when we begin to understand this is part of our journey going within. And when we begin to understand it, then it is up to us. It always is. It's up to each and every one of us. It isn't getting approval from external authority. And external authority is anybody outside of you. See? Anybody outside of you. And this is why a lot of us go and seek external authority, because we don't know where to begin to seek out the answers within us. So we don't bother. So the easier thing is to ask for an opinion or to go somewhere and have someone decide for you, that type of thing. And we've all done that through these lives. But in the long run, does it teach us? Do we learn from ourselves? Do we learn by traveling within us, by embracing the gods that we are and the beings that we are? Or is it easier to just seek external authority for ourselves, to get our answers from others, get our answers from whoever we deem that's going to help us, see? And this has been taught and ingrained in the civilization because of the fact that, you imagine when you were growing up, you were taught to go within yourself. You were taught to embrace the breath and to love the God within you. Can you imagine how you would be today? Right in the now. See? And it all starts there. So a lot of us have had to, go in reverse and go in, and then for ourselves, forgive ourselves one step at a time. And to eliminate all of these things that hang us. They literally, detain us. And a lot, how frustrating it is for a lot of us when we don't know that's what's going on. I think we've all had that. And so we get to a point where we get frustrated, throw our hands up in the air and say, geez, oh, Pete's. And instead of understanding, said, I love myself. I'm committed to the deep love that I am, and I am in a peace, which doesn't mean sedentary, but you're in peace, and you're in joy, and you're in bliss. This is our journey, to be there all the time. Not externally, not outside of ourselves. That is entertainment for some of us. And most of us that are going within and embracing the God and the love that we are, and forgiving and being gentle and kind to ourselves and non-judging, non-ego, then we become much lighter, much freer by our own direction, by our own decisions. Nobody else's, no external influences, but by ourselves. And we begin to find out the glory and the divinity that we truly are, instead of always trying to guess by being on the surface. it shifts everything. It changes your vibrational frequency to a much higher one, and you start to find out that, I like being there. I really like being there. I enjoy being in the higher frequency. And I know that it is up to me to keep myself in that high frequency, to be that high frequency. And I know the things that will take me away from that. It's all about knowledge. It's all about knowing who and what you are. And as you do this, that journey, you're constantly moving forward, and you're meeting other parts of yourself within. And you're having conversations with the other parts of you, and you're starting to understand how magnificent you are and how trivial so many of these external things are, and how ridiculous it is for us to carry baggage for years and years and years and have it influence us every step of the way. It just doesn't make any sense, but it's how we have been trained to be that way. And that makes it not an insurmountable for some of us, but it is a challenge for a lot of us to do that. A lot of us are fearful to go within. A lot of us skim the surface. A lot of us don't feel deserving of forgiving ourselves. I mean, truly, deeply forgiving ourselves for everything. And then you have the guilt, and you've got the ego mind and the subconscious, mind, and it's the guilt. What right do I have to forgive myself? And it must come from the heart mind. You have every right to forgive yourself because you are the love. You are the God. You forgive yourself. And you're gentle with yourself, always gentle with yourself. And when you do this, it may seem like a practice in the beginning, and the practice, after a while, you start to realize, and sometimes you stumble into it. You start going, I really enjoy this. This is good. I feel really good with this. And you could be grumpy and stressed for years, and then have it just fall away. And you start discovering how wonderful you truly are. And then what does that do? It motivates you to go even deeper. And you take a look at yourself at different points in your existence. You take a look at yourself and you say, I forgive myself for this. Whatever it may have been, it could have been anything that you experienced or you partaked in or you did that you carry with you. Long past. We carry these things with us. How can you love yourself when you're carrying such crap? And we all carry it until we come to the realization that, why am I carrying this crap? I don't need it. It's not lending comfort or love to me. It's causing me to become irritable and stressed at times, which I don't care to be. So you literally forgive yourself and it's gone. If you forgive yourself through the heart mind, it no longer is there. It has been dispersed, eliminated, neutralized. So, and it is all knowing this for you to eventually become all-knowing. Is that possible? Sure it is. Can we experience more after all-knowing? Absolutely. All-knowing in the now. Okay? Does that mean that we create adventures for us to experience, to learn, so that we know everything before we experience it? No. It is all-knowing in the now. See? We have forgiven ourselves. We are in love with ourselves. All right? We rise in love with ourselves. See? We elevate in love for ourselves, with ourselves. So, if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be disturbed. I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to relax the body. Relaxing the body is so important. We all carry stress because we've all got so many, external stuff and internal stuff, and you cannot not be stressed. You could be drugged up out of your mind and still be stressed. So the relaxing the body is just letting go. It really is surrendering. I use the hot air balloon analogy. If you've got all the ballast in the basket, so how are you going to soar high and see the beauty of all that there is on this planet if you've got all this ballast weighing you down? You can't. You're not going to. You're going to stay on the ground. So you throw the ballast out, and you keep throwing it out until you soar as high as you possibly can or desire to. And that's what you do with the body. You unload things. You disperse them, and you'll find out that they aren't a big deal, that you just eliminate them, and you walk through them. Now, some are scary for us to do that, to face off with it. For some of us, it becomes a little frightening to do that. But when we do it, and the love we have for ourselves, it vaporizes it. It goes away. See? And if it comes back, it's due to the ego mind or the subconscious mind. And you do the same thing. You just walk up to it, give it a big smack on the cheek, give it a hug, and say, I love you, but I don't care to have you with me. Please leave. And leave. It's gone. So the body responds and starts to relax. It has not a care in the world unless you give it the care in the world. It has not a stress in the world unless you give it the stress in the world. It doesn't have a fear in the world unless you give it the fear in the world. So you relax the body. And then we move into the now. And the now is everything for all of us. The now is all we have. The past, we've already traveled. The future, we haven't arrived. The now is all we have. And the now has the past, the present, future. Why the future? Because of the fact that in this very now, each of us are creating our future. We are designing it step by step. And then if we want to change and erase something and put something else new in, we can. So being in the now stills the ego mind. It stills it. What does that mean? Kind of goes and takes a nap on the couch. And what about the subconscious mind, with all those past memories and experiences that are just cram-packed in that closet, in that room? You still it, too. And you just go into being. You're kind of like in between the heartbeat, the space in between the heartbeat. And so the now is a wonderful place to be. So what can help you focus to stay in the now? Your breathing. Breathing is so important for all of us in these bodies. So we breath in through the nose. We take a nice, healthy inhale through the nose, and we hold it for 3 seconds. And we use the frequencies of I am love, I am light, I am. I am love, I am light, I am. I am light, I am love, I am. And when we do this, we hold it, focuses us just enough to know that we're in the now, because the breath is it's in the now. It can't be in the future, and it can't be in the past. Only the now. And the breath relaxes us and calms us. And it stills us in silence. Every single time you listen to your breathing, as you breath in and breath out, you will calm down, because it removes you from the future, and it removes you from the past, and it stills you in the now. And it just keeps you there, because as long as you're focused on your breath, you're always in the now. But if you just do it haphazardly through the ego mind, it isn't really going to do anything for you. And we want to do this at least 6 times. while I'm talking. And as we breath in, we're breathing in divine positive energy. It comes from the collective consciousness of this planet Earth, Gaia. It comes from the collective consciousness of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And if you understand something, that we all are the kingdom of God, and there are so many of us throughout existence, many different universes. If you're walking along the shore of a beach, there's nobody around, just you, and maybe some birds, and the sky is sharp, crystal clear, indigo blue, and the sun is just right, and the sand is bleach white. And you look down at the sand, you see it like a glitter of the sand. Each one of those pieces of sand is one of us. And each one of us has the power to create a universe. Pretty interesting. So it doesn't matter about the size. It matters about the power that we are. A grain of sand in some parts of existence can't even be lifted with any heavy equipment that we have on this planet. So, there are universes that are contained in a grain of sand. It's not how you view the outside, it's what the outside contains within. So, as we're breathing in, rise in the love and love with yourself. Source creations, communication through our God and through the heart mind. Rise in love with yourself. Become the love that you are. Embrace you. Love you. You are the perfect lover for you. You are the greatest lover you will ever meet, and contain the pure ecstasy that you've been searching for your entire life. And you rise in love with yourself. How many times have I shared that we are the love? Every one of us, we were created out of pure, deep, eternal love. We rise in love with ourselves. Now, as we breath out, no, this is kind of funny, strange. When you're uncomfortable with it, it means it's good. Seriously. When we're uncomfortable with something, it's we're like, you're not sure, you kind of, don't feel right with this. It's usually because you're so used to sitting on the nail or lying on the nail, and you're comfortable with that. And so when something comes along, such as rise in love with yourself, you kind of have a reluctancy. And then you discover why that is. Maybe you didn't forgive all of you. Maybe you aren't gentle enough with yourself. Maybe you haven't let go. Surrender. So that's when we breath out. That's where the ego mind and externalities come at us. Now, we are with the heart mind, and we are with the kingdom of God within us. So we're all one, we're all together. We have many with us. We have the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. All of them. This is civilization. The reason we don't see them all the time, every day, at night and morning, is because they're at a higher vibrational frequency. We will begin to see more and more of them. Does that make us any different than them as far as the gods within us? No. And there's trillions of them, and they've been with us since the beginning. basically, they're in the highest, deepest eternal love from the highest, deepest eternal love and the highest of gratitude. They couldn't be assembled here. They couldn't be here if they were in the low dark matter frequencies, low survival matter frequencies. Couldn't hold. And there is, at times, thousands can surround one of us. And then we have the Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda Jesus, El Morya, Abundancia, Hell, Thought, and many, many, many more. And they're all with us. We are all with them. They're of the highest of deepest eternal love and from the highest of deepest eternal love and the highest of deepest gratitude. And what are we in them? Are we any different? No. They're masters. They're ascended masters. They have ascended out of body consciously, knowing that they've ascended out of body. And they hold God for them. We ascend into body, but we're not consciously aware as much as they are when we ascend into the body. And we aren't that consciously aware of really, who and what we are when we ascend out of the body. But we're getting there. We're mastering it. We're understanding it. And so we're all together. We're all one here. We arm in arm, hand in hand, we form a circle of light around the equator of Earth Gaia, this planet. And we have a brilliant light. And the light literally grays out the darkness of space. What is the light? It's a very high vibrational frequency of the God within us. And is that which created us, source creation. It is of the highest of deepest eternal loves. And so the frequency creates such a brilliant light. The power is immeasurable. It saturates and floods the planet in, on, above, and below. And in fact, this whole solar system, and then it spreads out into the universe. And as we embrace the planet and we encase it in a perfect sphere, we encase ourselves, we encase everything. And it's like a field of glittering colors that don't exist on this planet. But glittering colors reflecting. It's like a gossamer field, like a mist. And it is of the highest of high frequencies. You can feel it as it touches your faces. And it doesn't dissipate. It just becomes stronger each second. And as we do this, we have the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael, our healing power. We have the violet blue purple flaming light of Archangel Michael, our strength and resolve power. We have the purple transmuting flame, our ability to transmute anything that is of the low frequencies into neutral light substance. Our violet ray, which is our ability to disperse, cleanse, and purify any area that has been violated by low frequencies. The white fire, which is our power of protection, of maintaining very high frequencies of deep eternal love and gratitude. We have the golden white pink light of source creation, of that which we have been created from. Mother, Father, God creates source creation. Prime source creator God, source creation. All of us. Now, the only way that we are left unprotected is through our own choice, where we literally open up the doors by lowering our frequency into low matter survival frequency. Hate, anger, pain, sorrow, anguish, disgust, ridicule, all of these things. So we determine, do we throw open those doors to the low frequencies, or do we practice higher and higher existence and frequencies of rise in love with ourselves? So, as we begin to move up further and further, and we levitate higher and higher, we step outside our bodies, and we float above the body. It's seamless. And we literally are receiving the full saturation of source creation, love, light, energy. It's just pouring through us. And you just feel that pouring through you, through the heart, mind, all through the body, all through the God, the kingdom of God, head to toe, inside and out. Just wonderful. And you're rising in love with yourself at the same time. So as we do this, we are compelled to call out to other parts of source creation, those that have been created by source out of deep eternal love. All of the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. And only those who are of the highest, deepest eternal love from the highest, deepest eternal love can join us in this meditation, in this now, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, peace, joy, tranquility, and benevolence. And they come in the Gugaplexes. One Gugaplex will fill this entire universe. And they come in the billions and trillions of Gugaplexes. Arm in arm, hand in hand, they join us in this now, in this circle of light, in this meditation. They are of the highest of deepest eternal loves, and in the deepest, deepest, deepest of gratitudes, and we are of the highest of deepest eternal love and the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes. And their gods are with our gods are with theirs, and we are all one, and we are all love, and our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon the inhabitants of Agartha, of hollow earth, of inner earth, of beneath earth. There are many civilizations, and only those who are of the highest, deepest eternal love from the highest, deepest eternal love can join us in this meditation, in this now, in this circle of light, and the highest of deepest gratitudes. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence. And they come, arm in arm, hand in hand, they join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and love. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and love. Their gods with our gods with theirs. We are all one. We are all love. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon the galactics, the off-worlders, all those Pleiadians, Syrians, Arcturians, Andromedans, and many, many, many more. And only those who are of the highest, of the deepest eternal love, from the highest of deepest eternal love, and the highest of deepest love, can join us in this meditation, in this now, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, and benevolence. And they come hand in hand, arm in arm. They join us in this now, in this circle of light, in this meditation. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and the highest of the deepest eternal love. And We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and the highest of deepest eternal love. Their gods with our gods with theirs. They have been assisting us in our evolution, in our enlightenment, in our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and slavery. And they are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and deepest of eternal love. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and the highest of deepest eternal love. And we are all one. And we are all love. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon our loved ones, all those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, and the highest of deepest gratitudes can join us in this now, in this circle of light, in this meditation. They're in full compassion and non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, generosity, humbleness, kindness, gentleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence. And they come in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand. They join us in this now, in this circle of light, in this meditation. Their gods with our gods with theirs. They are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes and the deepest of eternal love. We are of the highest of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitude and the highest of deepest eternal love. And we're all one, and we are all love. And our God-light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon the light energy beings who have decided to inhabit the following forms on, in, above, and below this planet Earth, Gaia, in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, the mermaids, the whale, the dolphin, the Pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, and many, many, many more. And only those who are of the highest, of the deepest eternal love, from the highest of the deepest eternal love, and the highest of deepest gratitude, can join us in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence. And they come in the trillions, shapes, colors, sizes, forms, configurations of which we have never, ever seen before. Arm in arm, hand in hand, they join us in this now, in this meditation, this circle of light. They are of the highest, of the deepest, 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 deepest gratitude. We are of the highest, of the deepest, deepest, deepest gratitude and the deepest of eternal love. And we are all one, and we are all love, and our God-light energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. Lifting the very fabric of creation, increasing and lifting all frequencies into the highest of the deepest eternal loves and the highest of the deepest eternal gratitudes. We look up and we see our meditative sphere. It's that center circle. We created this sphere 2 years ago. And it houses all of our meditations in perpetual motion. They don't go away, they stay. They don't dissipate, they expand. This sphere together can be seen, heard, and felt in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. You feel it as it saturates us, floods us from head to toe, inside and out, our physical, biological forms and our God forms. Non-stop. You can feel the warm wave through the center of your heart throughout the rest of your existence. Cleansing and purifying, uplifting. And you begin to rise in love with yourself. You begin to realize that you are the perfect lover. You are the most precious and divine, adorable being. You are the greatest lover you will ever meet. And you will contain the pure ecstasy that you've been searching for your entire life. There is nothing to do but rise in love with yourself. We look down upon the planet and we see all life, all of our brothers and sisters, everything, all of it, on and above and below. And they too are being flooded by the sphere we've created. And all of this is of source creation. And it's expanding, and it's flooding and saturating all things. Which means that it's uplifting and elevating everyone's frequency. And as they become more aware, and as they begin to understand that they are the love that they have been seeking forever, that they are the perfect lover, that they rise in love with themselves, that we all do, and that we are in gentleness and kindness and benevolence and tranquility and generosity and humbleness and bliss and joy and peace. And we continue to rise in love with ourselves. And we begin and we embrace the understanding that each and every one of us are the perfect lover for ourselves. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. throughout the rest of the day and evening and night, following morning, rise in the love that you are. Very simply put, rise in the love that you are. We'll be back here Friday, February 14th, 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern.